we've got playoff clinching scenarios. I've got them in my hand. We want to give you news.
I want them.
These are new. This is news you can use.
I want them.
This is it. This is week 18. By the way, if the season had ended today, because back in the day it would have, the Niners would be in, the Chargers would be in, the Colts would be in. Right. These are the teams that could fall out of the playoffs because they haven't clinched yet. Everyone else is clinched that's in there. Hey, playoff spot. They can clinch better than what they currently have. They could clinch home field throughout. They could clinch the division, even though they're already in, like Arizona and the Rams. They're in, but we don't know who's got the home playoff game yet, do we? I've got the information right here in my hands.
You want some music?
I definitely do, Mike, because there's a lot of information. We start in the American Football Conference, and the Baltimore Ravens have a playoff clinching scenario. Yep, they're sitting there at 8-8 right now. They would have been on the outside looking in had the season ended tonight, but it has not. So the Baltimore Ravens have to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and then hope that the Jaguars win. Well, the Jaguars can make a lot of people's lives happy. And they hope that the Dolphins lose to Miami. To New England. That's possible, right? So let's just say the Jaguars beat the Colts and Dolphins lose to New England as the Ravens win at home. They'll sit there on Sunday Night Football and root for the Raiders because the Chargers' loss will put the Ravens in the playoffs despite all the craziness. That's their only playoff clinching scenario. They win. Chargers, Colts, and Dolphins all lose. The Buffalo Bills have a shot to win the AFC East. It's a very simple equation. Beat the Jets and they win the AFC East. And they punch a playoff ticket for all the home folks there in Western New York. If the Patriots lose to the Dolphins, they also clinch the AFC East. If they and the Patriots all tie, they clinch the AFC East. So it looks like the Bills are going to clinch the AFC East. That was a big win in New England a couple weeks ago, huh? The Cincinnati Bengals, they've won the AFC North. The Bengals have a chance to clinch home field throughout the AFC playoffs. What is that scenario? It's a lot. They got to beat the Browns and hope the Titans, Chiefs, and Patriots lose. Or hope the Titans, Chiefs lose and the Bills win. Don't ask me why.
What?
But the Titans play the Texans. And the Chiefs play the Broncos in the first game of Week 18. That is the ESPN doubleheader opener on Saturday. So Cincinnati's got a chance to clinch home field throughout. What's the Colts playoff clinching scenario? Very simple. All they got to do is beat Jacksonville or tie them. That's it. Or if the Chargers lose and Baltimore and Pittsburgh end in a tie, I don't even give you the rest of it. But it's a possibility that the Colts lose to the Jaguars and still make it. The Chiefs, how can they clinch home field throughout? It's very simple. They win and Titans lose to the Texans. That's it. They tie and the Titans lose. They also get the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That was a huge loss in Cincinnati, man. Because the win and clinch home field throughout the AFC playoff scenario, that belongs to the Tennessee Titans, which we'll tell you in a second. The Vegas Raiders, they win, they're in. They win, they're in. And then, of course, if the Colts lose and they tie, they're in. And if the Colts and Steelers lose, they're in too. Boy, the Jaguars opened the door for so many teams if they could only beat the Colts.
Please do it.
Oh, my God. Because the Colts are standing in so many people's way because of their huge second and third months of the season. They were a red-hot team after falling 0-3 and 1-4. The Chargers win there or tie, they're in. That's a simple one. That's it. Win or tie on Sunday night, they're in. There you go. The Patriots have two clinching scenarios. Do you know the Patriots can clinch throughout the playoffs? They can clinch home field throughout the playoffs.
Still?
First things first, they can clinch the East if they beat the Dolphins and the Jets beat the Bills.
Right.
They can clinch home field throughout if the Bills, Chiefs, and Titans all lose and they beat the Dolphins. Again, the Titans play the Texans, the Chiefs are at Denver, and the Bills are home against the Jets. So we're saying there's a dumb and dumber chance for New England to clinch throughout the entire playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we mentioned this before. If they win and the Colts lose and the Chargers and Raiders do not end in a tie on Sunday night, that is the way that Big Ben plays one more game. They got to beat the Ravens, look up at the scoreboard and see the Jaguars beating the Colts, and then root for a non-tie on Sunday night. If that happens, they're in. And then the Tennessee Titans, as I mentioned, what a remarkable season for them. without Derrick Henry. They beat the Texans, and they get home field throughout. An extra week for Derrick Henry to get well enough to come back and play a divisional playoff game as their first game. That's your AFC playoff clinching scenarios. Let's go to the NFC right now. Let's go to the NFC. The Arizona Cardinals, if they beat the Seahawks and the Rams lose at home to the 49ers, they clinch the West. They're already in the playoffs, as we know. So that's the way the Cardinals beat the odds and win the NFC West after leading that division for much of the year. The Rams, opposite. They just beat the Niners or tie the Niners, they win the West. And if the Cardinals lose or tie against Seattle, that gives the division to the Rams. And the Rams have an opportunity to start the playoffs where they hope to end it, in SoFi Stadium. The New Orleans Saints. How can Taysom Hill lead the Saints to the playoffs? They have to win in Atlanta and hope the 49ers lose to the Rams. That's possible, don't you think?
I think so.
NFC is much easier. I mean, there's only one team sniffing it in the NFC. And the 49ers, they make the playoffs by beating or tying the Rams. Or the Saints lose in Atlanta, which is entirely possible too, because you know Atlanta would love to end their season by ending the Saints season at the same time. We're both home for the playoffs. I spit my last breath at thee. A little Wrath of Khan. That's your playoff clinching scenarios for Week 18. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.